I'm okay if if this podcast thing, if it only touches 10 people. Like,
That means you checked your heart.
yes,
You checked your.
it's all about your heart posture. Like, I really mean that.
Y'all gotta tune in, because it's good. It's a good one.
If you can't seem to forgive, you fighting with your pride. I gotta stand on this word and I can't compromise. Only a matter of time before.
What up, KK?
Hey.
What's good, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you for coming. You just came back from Dallas?
I just came back from Austin.
Austin, how was that?
Austin was cool. Austin was fun. It was just a quick turnaround trip though, for the most part. I've never really been to Austin. I feel like I've only been there one other time, so.
I've never been to Texas at all.
I feel like it's quiet.
It is?
Austin is pretty quiet.
It's weird.
It's a little weird.
It's a little weird.
It's a little weird, but I think it's just because I usually go to Dallas or Houston, and they're just a bit more.
Like city life type?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was it what you went for work?
Yeah.
Okay, so like tell the people like what you do.
Okay, well when I was in Austin, or you mean in general?
No, in general, yeah, in general.
Oh, okay. Well I guess in general, I create stuff, I manage stuff to create it more. I don't know, I do a plethora of stuff. I just be around. I like to dip my hands in like different things just because I feel like if it just stays with dance, you kind of get mixed in the dance world too heavily, and there's not enough motion in dance alone. Yeah. So.
And that's crazy that you said that. I have a friend that have you ever heard of the Diamonds? Like they're at San Diego State, they dancers though.
I think so.
So.
Actually, yeah.
You probably have, because it's in the dance world. Like, matter of fact, Rihanna just did something with Fendi with, like she was sponsoring like dancers.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was pretty dope, but she sponsored them. But the reason why I bring that up was one of my friends was a dancer. It's funny, I was telling her that she was going to be on. She was like, oh, I've been watching her since I was a kid. I'm like, what in the world? But I was telling her, she was telling me about like dance life. And I was just like, Jamie, like, why don't you dance? Like, bro, you so gifted. And she was just like, she said the same thing. She's like, I don't know, Darnell. Like, I can get lost in it. And she was like, she was like, she wants to create freely. And she doesn't want to, like, I don't know what it is, but she was like, it just isn't what she wanted to do. Like, college was fun for her, being a diamond, but she was just like, I don't know. It was just something that, she didn't like about it. But it was kind of like to what you just said.
It's fun. Like, it's always going to be my passion. I feel like a lot of people are like this. It's just, I think it's probably because people are never really satisfied with dance. Not the dancer, but the person watching. So you have to keep doing the most though. Like, I don't know, it's not like any other industry where like if it's the music industry and you drop an album, you can live off that album forever.
Right.
If you're a dancer, you're gonna have to keep doing stuff. Like
you gotta keep reinventing.
Yeah, and then I feel like now that TikTok is so huge, people don't really respect dance as much now because everybody can do it, it is universal language, so that's the point of it. But it's not taken as serious as I feel like every other industry in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I remember when, like, cause you think about Instagram, when Instagram came aboard, it was based off of like photographers using it, and then everybody started using it. Then they started making all our phones damn near like the cameras,
right? And
then now everybody is a photographer. So now it's like hard, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody, like, I remember I think it was something that I heard, I know it was true, but Beyonce had a person taking photos off of their camera, off of their phone, you know what I'm saying? So like doing stuff for her. So like when I heard that, I'm like, oh, like they opening the whole floodgates, you know what I'm saying? And it was cool because I'm like, you know what, like people sometimes can't afford stuff. So maybe, whatever, but I remember feeling the same way, not to to like the degree of yours because you've been doing it for how long?
10 years now. So I've been doing it professionally, I feel like, for 10 years.
For 10 years.
But I've had my first job, but it wasn't like on purpose. My cousin sent me a job that she got, and she was a singer, and she was like, well, I don't do this. And I was like, well, I was coming off of like cheer and gymnastics and stuff.
Okay.
And it was for the Spark kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Since it's giving cheer, shoot,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. And then I ended up getting it. And then I met a whole bunch of dancers from there. And then they were like, you should go to Pulse with us. You should do this and this and this. And then that's when I started getting into dance. But that job was when I was like 13, 14.
Dang.
And then,
Yeah.
but it was kind of like by accident.
Oh,
and
by
I was
accident.
I stayed doing that for like 3 years.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, well, I kind of like it.
Dang, man. So like, I wanna I asked everybody on here. It's like a little check-in, like a little small check-in. How was your mental? Like, if you could rate it from a one being the lowest, 10 being the highest, like what would you rate your mental coming into this year?
Coming into this year, I
Yeah.
think my mental was a good 6.5.
Okay.
That's so low. It was a good 6.5. It ended up going up higher, I think, after the spring kind of hit.
That's good.
And it was just because I think I just got out of situations where I felt like renewed. I felt like I have a new beginning, like a fresh start. I feel like because it's like good and bad thing.
Okay.
I've been in the eyes of a lot of people since this gang stuff started. I could never kind of be still and not have to worry about opinions or running around or doing like, it was just like a moment. So I think because I had a moment of stillness, I actually was able to learn myself better
That's
and
good.
look at my surroundings and stuff more so than I was when I was younger and just going.
But you know what though? Learning yourself is so important. Like,
Yeah.
and that's like a lost art. Like I remember, and it's crazy that you said like slowing down and being still, because sometimes you got to do that in order to hear your own voice sometimes.
Right.
Like you always operating off of somebody else's voice. Oh, do this, or like they, you know, that's crazy. That's a good point that you pointed out, because I had to deal with that. Like
You just keep going.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, people, it's a people pleasing thing.
yes, yes.
I had that problem.
Yes.
It was always a people pleasing thing. Like, I couldn't really, I'll say I couldn't, because I was doing what I wanted to do. I just didn't know it was going to be at the extent of what it was. So it was never like a moment of, are you okay, Kaelynn? It was always like, oh, you do this. Oh, you're fine. Oh, like it was always somebody answering it for me. So I was just like, all right, well, let me just go and keep
Dang,
going.
Like what made you not stop them and be like, no, I'm not?
Because I didn't want to feel.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how, oh my God. Ooh. Yeah, I didn't feel like feeling, I didn't want to feel the growing pains. Like I knew what had to be done. And because I was always in front of someone, I didn't want to grow in front of people like that. That's why, I think that's why I'm just a private person in general. Or like you don't really hear me talk a lot or be around. Like I'll just go do my job and hit it. Or
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like a big loner, but
Yeah,
I
like a
rock
lone
with
wolf.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a good and bad thing. Like I feel like I just got tired of people knowing who I was, and I didn't know who they were. So I had to stop myself so I could actually get to know people around me, because the intentions was what was messing me up too. I was so young. So.
You know what's crazy? You talk about being so young, man. My cousin, is all these name drops, but my cousin Ray Ray, he used to be a part of Mindless Behavior.
Okay, yeah.
And he started so young, and like, that's my blood cousin. Like I watched
crazy.
ups and downs.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, like, talking to him and like him being hurt, and it's like so many, like, and it's crazy. Yeah, you get hurt by the world, but then like when you come home, your family is like they see you on these grand stages and traveling the world, but then like they expecting you to perform too.
All the time. Everything is a performance.
And so I remember it was a family reunion. Oh my God, Kaelynn, it's crazy. Family reunion.
Danced.
Yes.
Sorry.
Swear. No, for real. If he was here, I promise you he'd be talking right now like, oh yeah, like, and if you dance, he danced. Like that was one thing that we knew him by. Like I remember we was kids in the yard, like long time ago, and he was dancing. I was telling my cousin, I'm like, bro, like, he gonna be crazy. And then next thing you know, he start going. But I always treated him like a human being. Like every time he would, and I'm gonna go back to the family reunion. So he got there and it was like, oh, Ray, can you woo? And he like, oh my God. So, you know, at first, like how you said, performance, he was just performing, because he didn't know how to stop.
Right.
And then it got to a point where he would pull up in his Jeep, he would call me like, hey, cuz you here? I'm like, yeah, where you at? Like, I didn't see you. He was like, I'm way down, like I'm parked, like down the park, like just walk down, you gonna see my car. And I would just go and we would just sit in the car and he'd be like, bro, I just need a break.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
That's crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all human.
Yeah, but that's the thing, when you're an entertainer, everybody, that's the unfortunate thing. I think everybody, when it comes to, I feel like sports, music, dance, acting, any of that, your job is to entertain people, and it's so draining. Like, people are just expecting you to, this is your job, but this is who you are. And it's like, whoa, like everybody should be able to go home after their job and turn it off.
Yeah.
And the fact that it does come from family. It does come from friends, childhood friends, like people you grow up with. And it's an exciting moment, I think, for people, because it's like, no, oh shit, I know them, like, and it is exciting at first, like, yeah, you know, I am doing my shit, and it is cool, but at the end of the day, if you can't go home to peace, you probably aren't gonna have those people around anymore, whether it's family, friends, or business part, anything. Like, people don't know how to turn it off.
Yeah.
And if you're talented, they're gonna expect you to keep
even more
doing it, even more so than somebody that's mediocre.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Now, you know what's crazy? I was listening to I think Nip said this. He said, would you be at war with yourself but at peace with the world, or at peace with yourself and at war with the world? And I feel like what you just said was just like, that's what I heard when you said that. It's just like, you gotta choose.
Yeah.
Like, do you be at peace with yourself and at war with the world, or you just have peace with the world and now you fighting yourself every day?
I wouldn't recommend fighting yourself every day. That's why my mental was the way it was because I was trying to have peace with everybody that didn't care about mine. So it was like, well, I shouldn't care either. It seems like people, when they don't care, they move a little bit more selfishly.
Yeah, that's
they're
facts.
happier.
That's
like,
facts. And I just want to say thank you again, because like, I met you one time and it wasn't even like a formal meet. It was like, you were dancing, we were doing something for Puma, and I was able to shoot you. But it was like, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you just seem so cool. And I feel like that.
Thanks. You're cool yourself.
I appreciate it, man. But like, I always like, I think my superpower is being able to like see the person behind. I don't want to say you had a mask on, but like, just see the person behind what they do.
Yeah, I was at work.
You was at work. You know what I'm saying? And I deal with a lot of that too. Like, a lot of people, they think like, and I was actually talking to a couple of my friends. We were talking about like, we are not what we do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That is not who we are. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the times it's crazy. Like, when I go to these places, they look at my hand and I be like, they be like, oh, where your camera at? And I'm like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like,
give me a break.
Give me a break, bro. I'm just trying to come in and enjoy myself just like you. You know what I'm saying? But I want to cover the topic of like, your word is enough.
Yeah.
And how has that affected you? Like, is it not being enough or being enough? Because you talked about it being all that you can be. Like break that down for me.
I think I chose the word enough because I had enough of being somebody I wasn't. I had enough of like the expectation of people pleasing again. I was just kind of fed up with stuff to the point where I had enough, and people didn't understand it because it's like, well, you're Kaelynn. Like, you've been doing this and this and like, this is you. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm not my social media. Well, that sounds crazy because I am technically my page, but I'm not. I got tired of being looped in with only social media and the jobs that I was doing. So I kind of just had enough of the industry, entertainment industry. And it did stem from inside because I didn't feel like I was enough either because it was never satisfying. Like, you can do one thing and then you can't really, I never really lived in the job long enough because I had to keep thinking of the next thing.
Yeah.
And it was only to please people. Like, I love what I do, but if I don't do it quick enough, back to back to back to back to back, it becomes irrelevant.
Yes.
Or it becomes like, oh, well, she used to be doing, like, everybody has to grow from stuff. And I feel like it's been 10 years on this social media stuff. So it's like people expect you to just keep doing it, and it's not satisfying. Like, unless you aren't worried about, I guess, the algorithm or posting or something like that,
facts, yeah.
you feel way better. But then again, it's like you can go from everybody seeing your stuff to you having a moment you don't feel like I got tired of posting class videos. And class videos is what's popping online now for dance. Like, but that became the new performance. Like, that's not a performance, that's our training. And the fact that we have to keep posting dance videos in the studio when we're training, and it's expected to be like a performance in a show, and it is, but it's for us personally so we can grow. And I felt like I would mess up and it would be held against me because you're not supposed to mess up. Like, you're perfection, you're this, and it's like, you guys really have no idea who I am because I'm always messing up, to the point like people think that I'm right because I'm messing up just because I'm laughing at it. But I had to start laughing or I would have been miserable. Like, if I would have taken it way more serious than I already did, I would be miserable. Like, it's a lot. There's a lot of pressure, and especially when people have been watching you from when you started, it's just a lot of pressure. It's
just a lot. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, I've never, like, I played football, I ran track, but that, like, just hearing you, that's a lot of expectation on one person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then I remember having conversations with, because I was teaching a lot, like a lot.
Yeah.
And I would have conversations with parents a lot. And don't get me wrong, I love being inspiring, but I'm not the person to be a role model. And I know that sounds crazy, but I don't want their kids looking at me, and if I mess up or do something, it gives them a reason or an excuse to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, well, Kaelynn did that. And it's like, okay, well, that's not, I'm still learning. Like, I don't have guidance in this stuff. I'm figuring it out just like you guys are. But I would have conversations with parents, and they're just like expecting me to be doing more for like African Americans, which I get and I understand, but I'm green to this industry too. Like, I don't have the guidance that you guys are expecting me to have for you, especially because I'm only 17 or I'm only 18 or 19. It was just, I was too young to be giving advice to people that weren't that much younger than me. And I don't want to give you the wrong advice, and then now you're looking at me like, oh, she don't know what you're talking about, because I didn't know what I was talking about. I was just going based off of my experiences. But then again, that's not always enough either.
Yeah.
You should be aware, or you should know this or this and this, and it just became too much. So that's why, I think that's why the word enough is close to me, because I just be having enough of it. Like, just sit back and, I don't know, everybody has to experience their personal experiences, because what I was given, a lot of people won't be given, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Like, so.
That's true. So, like, outside of dance, like, where, like, outside of dance, take me back, like, when you were younger, the young Kaelynn. Like, yes, you've been dancing all your life, right?
I guess technically.
Half, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I was always doing some type of movement.
Doing something, right? So, like, how was your upbringing outside of dance? Like, did that affect you to, like, where you are now?
Yeah. So I grew up with a single mom. It was just me, my sister, and my mom. And, well, of course, like my aunties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was just the girls. So I think for me, I grew up a bit angry, because I was expecting my dad to be there. And he only came around after ABDC and when I started getting on shows and stuff. So I feel like outside of dance, it was I had a great childhood, but it was also very sheltered. Like I couldn't really go anywhere or do anything. And I think it just stems back from like women in general experiencing abusive behavior and their kids being around stuff that they have no control over, like little things. Like if I was staying the night at somebody's house, my mom knew them down. It wasn't like, oh, you can just hang out with your friends. I think the first party I went to, I was 17, like getting out of high school. It was a very sheltered lifestyle. So when I got older, all I wanted to do was
go have fun.
I just wanted to have fun. I wanted to be out. I wanted to be around. And I was teaching overseas, and their legal age is different than back at home.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I ain't
never been.
The legal ages be different in different countries. So I was like, I'm out of here. I'm about to go experience the world, which is a blessing because I was able to experience things I was reading in history books and then beyond that
that's crazy,
at a young age. But I don't know, my upbringing was smooth. It could definitely be better. Definitely be better, but I don't have any complaints. I feel like if something were to be different, I definitely wouldn't be the person I am today. Just because my mom definitely raised me to be a very independent woman. And sometimes it's a bit extreme. But I'm grateful for that versus me being dependent on somebody. Or having to navigate through somebody else's dime or time or any of that. So
that's a good point because it's always like a two-edged sword. Like you can be codependent or you can be dependent, and you can have your pros and cons with being independent, and you have your pros and cons with being co-independent. It's just like, dang, like, because like how you said, when you are so like, okay, I can do that, I can handle that, it intimidates people, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes we get in our own way too, you know what I'm saying? Because we don't allow people to help us. So that's crazy though. But I thank you. Like I said again, I appreciate you for being like, you know, just open and transparent, because I feel like we need that. Like being enough, like how you said, like, and everybody that I have on there, they always, like, I think one word was fear, right? And I thought it was gonna be like, no, fear crippled me. Fear, no, but everybody has twisted their word up in a positive way. So like with you, I thought it was just like, I'm not enough. But you were like, no, I was being like too much of enough. Like, you know what I'm saying? You was like, I was just doing anything and everything. And that's crazy because I was never able to see enough in the lens of like what you just spoke. You know what I'm saying? Like I've always thought about it just, oh, not enough, or I didn't think you was gonna say that.
No. I mean, I didn't think I was either. It came straight from the top, man. No, but I do feel like it is. Naturally, you're going to feel like, oh, I'm not enough. But in reality, it's not enough for other people.
Right.
So it's like, I'm actually pretty straight, and I would be happy if y'all would just kind of loosen up the grip on what I'm expected to be doing or what you expect me to be doing or expect to see me do, like, you know? And I think it comes from, too, like, people do wanting the best for you, but it's also people just not thinking you're a human. Like, and
to even touch on that, like you said that in the beginning of the conversation, you talked about like friends, family, like has being too much of enough, like has that affected, like, and you said it has affected like friends, but like is you said that's the reason why you're so like, I'm cool, because you talked about intentions, and I'm dealing with that now. Like I've been doing photography about like 3 years, and I'm like, do this person really mess with me, or they mess with me because they know
most likely not, though. I know that probably sucks to hear, but most likely not. Usually people in this line of work mess with you for what you can do for them. So, but probably, you know, like you probably are around different people, but I don't know. If you can do, the more you do for people, the more they rock with you.
And
do they do it in return? Probably not, because you have all these people, you don't need nice. Like, so.
Yeah.
Everybody's different, but.
That's so crazy, bruh. Like, what would be, lastly, like, what would be one thing that you could tell a person that is feeling like they're too much of enough? Like help somebody that probably hasn't walked your walk, but is probably about to, and you can stop it. Like, what would you say to that person?
I would say it is. And I would say to never change yourself for somebody else. And I would tell them to continue on what you first saw in your head when you first wanted to do it, and you'll be fine, if that makes sense. You'll be as fine as it's gonna get. Never feel like you're not enough, I guess, because that's just mind manipulation. I would tell them to breathe and do some self-care, whether it's a nice bath or a massage or any of that, to focus on yourself more so than what you're producing. Because you're always going to produce greatness if you are good with yourself and your mental and your spirit. So
That's good. That's good. And a thing that I thought is, like, a lot of people pray for that mountaintop. A lot of people want to reach that mountaintop, but if that mountaintop will kill you, you might just be good where you at.
yeah, and it'll try to take you out.
You know what I'm saying?
It'll try to
Swing
take
on
you
you
out.
once you get up there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But once again, thank you. I really, truly appreciate you. This was like, it was like educational, because I didn't know
thank you.
half of the stuff that I knew that you just said, but I know that it's gonna help somebody else, like through your transparency, through you being vulnerable and just being open, especially for this being your first time ever doing something like this.
Yeah. You know, I don't talk a lot to people. I just kind of run my own little business and keep it pushing.
Yeah.
But I do think it does help people now that I'm the age I'm at.
Right.
So I feel like, because I've just been through some stuff. So instead of me talking about or talking out of assumption, it's experience now. So
That's facts. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. This was fun.
Faith without work is dead. We know that. You know what I mean? So you physically have to do things for faith to activate.
You people pleasing and giving peace to the wrong stuff. Come boss up, yeah.
If you don't learn to forgive, it's gonna make you even more bitter, and it's gonna put you in a more dark space, because it's not about them, it's about you.
Through our lens, how I see it, baby. We took our time to build this situation.
You need people to remind you, like, sometimes when God has shown up, because fear will distort your way of thinking.
All right, bro, so tell me, what is Through Our Lens? Through Our Lens is past photography. It's past anything that has to do with a cameraman. It's actually how we live life, bro. How everybody has a perspective.